Alright everyone, welcome back to another review, and we're going to be reviewing the 7th installment and most recent installment of the Chucky franchise with the recently released Cult of Chucky, written and directed once again by Don Mancini, who is his third time around in the director's chair, and of course, once again, he's the man that has written every single movie up to this point. This movie, once again, stars Fiona Dorff returning as Nika. As always, Brad Dourif comes back as Chucky. We have Jennifer Tilly returning as Tiffany, and also Alex Vincent, the original Andy from the first two Child's Play movies, and of course coming back with a more expanded role in this movie, returns as Andy Barkley. Okay, I'm gonna try not to spoil so much about this movie, but I'm gonna do my best because this movie is fucking weird. This is one of the weirdest Chucky movies I've ever seen. Pretty much, this whole thing is Chucky meets One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's it. The majority of this movie is Chucky stalking this mental institution, which Nika is, because this movie takes 4 years after the events of Curse of Chucky, and Nika has been, I guess you could say, has been committed for the murders that were portrayed by Chucky, but also at the same time, the doctors here have convinced her that she was the one responsible for everything, and that she just used the doll as a defense mechanism, like something to protect her, something to project the killings on, or something like that. So yeah, this is I don't know, this movie's just completely fucking weird. Yeah, so that's the overall gist of Nika's character. And of course, then you got Andy Barkley coming back, who his whole plot is that he's on the run. He's like pretty much on the road to try and save Nika from the institution. And but at the same time, he has to like go through Tiffany, who we reveal is revealed to have been the guardian of the little girl Alice, and of course it's also revealed that, you know, while Chucky was possessed as Alice, Alice was killed. So yeah, that further, like, you know, upsets Nika, because, you know, her favorite niece was killed because of even inadvertently or inadvertently by the Chuckster. The characters in the asylum, they're okay, I guess. You got this one character who's like so far gone that she thinks the doll's her kid, and it's also revealed that she actually smothered her kid because she couldn't get him to stop crying. We have this one character who's just a bitch, like a real fucking bitch, and Chucky dispatches her in a very glorious way. I gotta say, Chucky taking down this bitch character is great. You know, she's like strapped to a bed. Just watch it. Just watch that one scene. That's great. And you got this other guy who's called Multiple Malcolm. Pretty much in almost every other scene, he's like a different person. Like one second he's Mark Zuckerberg. The next scene he thinks he's Charles Lee Ray. Yeah, it's all right. And you got this doctor guy who we find out is hypnotizing Nika and sexually taking advantage of her while she's in a hypnotized state. And I actually like there's two scenes in this movie where every time he like, this doctor's alone with Nika, Chucky always cold cocks him, and he's always like, I admire this guy. I don't know if I want to kill him or take notes. Like, you see, like Chucky has like almost an admiration for this guy. He even says he's more diabolical than I am. You know, of course, once again, you know, Brad Dourif bringing that awesome charisma he's had throughout the entire Child's Play franchise, and has a couple of good, you know, one-liners in this movie. This movie to me goes completely batshit insanity, where we find out that Chucky Charles is able to transfer. Sorry. Oof. Is able to transfer his souls into multiple different dolls. And there's this one scene where pretty much Brad Dourif is acting as 3 different Chuckies all in the same scene, and it's hilarious. You gotta, if you watch this movie for anything, just watch it for the last half where you get to see Brad Dourif act as three different Chuckies, because that was hilarious. That was fun to watch. How he was, and just the bantering between all three of them was hysterical. Brad Dourif once again proving he is a talented actor, and of course once again proving that, you know, he can bring credibility to any movie, no matter how bad or how fucking random it really is. At least you know you're gonna get something out of him. Now, I do got problems with this movie. This isn't a perfect movie whatsoever. One of my main problems is that this movie does not have enough Andy Barclay in it. I mean, you've seen it in the beginning, and we also find out from the post credits from Curse of Chucky, we find out that he has the severed head of Chucky, whose head he, you know, shot off in the last movie, and he's keeping it, and he's like torturing it, and I like all that. Like, to me that comes across as Andy finally, you know, giving Chucky some payback for all the shit he put him through when he was a kid. This is Andy now torturing Chucky. So I thought that was funny. And I also love this scene where Chucky and Andy share a joint. That was fucking hysterical to me. Like, Andy's like, light one up, and Chucky's like, can I get a hit? And then Andy was like, and then that was pretty fun. And then Chucky does like a little and then Andy does a little jump back. Yeah, so that was okay. I like that stuff. That's it. Like, you don't really want to know. Andy's like scarcely peppered throughout this movie. Like, the next real big thing you see him in is when he gets to the asylum and gets himself committed by punching out a security guard. And of course the big thing about this movie is Chucky transfers his soul into Nika. So, you know, right now Nika is possessed by Chucky, and Fiona Dourif acting like Chucky is actually, it's kind of funny. It's kind of hilarious. And I actually would like to see how they further expand upon this in the next movie. It's having Nika now as the new Chucky, and now Andy has got to like try and save Nika before, you know, Nika gets killed because of Chucky. Because at the end of this movie, you know, Chucky in Nika form, you know, actually, you know, leaves Andy in the asylum. You know, he locks him in his cell and just walks away after, you know, Andy dispatches one of the possessed Chucky dolls. So I'm kind of curious as to how the story is going to play out in the later movie, with Andy chasing Chucky while possessing Nika, and how Andy's going to be able to save her and stuff like that. So I think this movie clearly was pretty much a setup movie for the next movie. I think that's why this movie is just kind of hard to get a grasp on, because it plays more like a setup movie than an actual standalone movie. And of course, you know, Chucky as Nika and Tiffany are now gonna be lesbian lovers, because, you know, they're still married in a way and still lovers, I guess. Now they're lesbian lovers, which is okay. We'll run with that. Let's do this. And, you know, that's pretty much how the movie ends. You know, Nika and Jennifer run away, you know, drive away together. But to me, one of the best things about this movie is the end credits, where we see the return of Kyle from Child's Play 2, and hopefully they can incorporate, and hopefully, you know, we can get a nice, you know, little reunion of Andy and Kyle. And it's Kyle the one that saves Andy, and Kyle and Andy work together to try and save Nika. I think that could be pretty cool storyline for the for the 8th movie when they do it. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about Cult of Chucky. All in all, I'm gonna give this movie a. Damn, I don't even know what to rate it. I'm gonna give it a. Because I don't really hate it, but it is weird as hell. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's got some good. We got good acting. We got some good kills. We got some good direction. We got some really random writing, though. And this movie definitely stands out from the pack of the rest of the Chucky movies. I'll give it that. And of course, the last few minutes of this movie where Brad Dourif is acting as 3 different Chuckies is always a positive for me and always a major highlight, and I love it. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Those are my thoughts on Cult of Chucky. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.